And welcome to John Noble, my special guest today. Thank you for being with me.
It's great to be here. We've had a little bit of drama coming into it, didn't we? But it was great.
We did, but it was worth it. It's okay.
It was something to share. Technology.
It's a sum up of this year, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we know you from Fringe, and we know you from Sleepy Hollow and Stargate and all these other great shows. But how did you get into acting? I really don't know how you decided to be an actor.
Look, when I was a kid, we didn't believe anyone could be actors. There were Hollywood actors that we used to watch at the matinees and things, but I was a country kid too. Then down to boarding school for a while, still there was no thought of that. Then to university, no thought of that. It wasn't an option, you know.
Yeah.
In Australia at the time, and they just started their first drama school not so long before, and that was churning out some amazing people. But so I was the first part of the question again. I was just thinking about the drama. What was the first part?
Yeah. How did you become an actor?
So I was doing an elective subject just for fun, and it was drama. And it captured me. More important, the two lecturers took me aside and said, "You've got an amazing voice," and etc. and encouraged me. And very, very quickly, I was on stage, Unity Theatre, which I adored, and I still love it. Really good stuff. And worked through there, and then started to break into professional pretty quickly. And in fact, it was only about 3 years later that I went fully pro. It was just a deal Penny, my wife and I had worked out. We brought a little dumpy house which we were doing up. We said, let's get this paid off first. Isn't that ridiculous? We did it though. So we didn't care about going in. Things were simpler then.
Well, do you like doing television and movies, or do you like the theater better?
Just to complete the previous one.
Sorry.
No, I stopped. What I've thought since is that I finally found something that I was good at and that I loved. That's why all else was swept away. I mean, I was studying law and stuff. I loved it and I was good at it, and that was like, and I haven't changed my mind about that. I've done a tremendous amount of directing as well, but no, acting's my first love. Yes.
Oh, good. So do you prefer then the theater, or do you prefer television and movies?
Yeah. That's so different. Doing a stage play and doing television. I like all of them for different reasons. I like the edginess of television. It's just so fast, and you've got to step on your feet. There's no one there. You just got to do it. You really don't get direction,
right.
So you got to get out there and hit it. Get rehearsals. I love that part of it, and it suits my nature once again, and it keeps you going. Film's a much slower process. A lot of sitting around in trailers and things, but I mean, it's still nice. I mean, it's easier. Stage is just a different animal altogether. It's a connectiveness between the people you're working with, which you develop over weeks, and then every night with the new audience. And there is a connection. There is a connection. When we're on stage, we can create an energy connection, and you can feel it, and you can feel it when it's not there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's extraordinary, and you become bonded with the people you're working with. You're always looking forward to seeing each other and going having a coffee or a beer afterwards or something, and all swear to be best friends for the rest of your life, which you sort of don't. But it's so much. It's so different. I mean, it doesn't feel like work. Of course, it is. Whereas film and television, it does feel like work.
Well, any job you like shouldn't feel like work, or at least it doesn't to me, because I love, being a dealer and doing that and meeting talented people like yourself. I put up two of my favorite things behind me, Sleepy Hollow and Stargate. Is there any role that you like to do that no one's asked you to do? Or you probably don't think you're qualified for it, but you'd still like to do it?
At a certain age, of which I have now entered, the roles are fewer, but sometimes are really good. And you can look at the work. Ian McKellen's still going, and Christopher Plummer and these guys are still brilliant, and they're what must be in the 80s. If you choose to, you keep going. Some don't. I will, keep acting as long as I have the impulse to do it. So what roles will I be offered? Well, you're quite often offered kings and prime ministers and so forth. I prefer the strong character roles, really complex character, as you witness from the roles I do. I love them, and I don't necessarily want to be cloaked or inhibited by being a type, by being a politician or a judge or a prime minister. And so, yeah, but it's great. Character stuff. It opens so many possibilities for me and my years of observation and learning to bring to life those things, bring to life that character.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Is there some character you like more than others that you've played already?
Oh yeah, I think the best character, just in terms of all-round fun, was Walter Bishop in Fringe. He was a unique character, and he captured a very wonderful following of people. And I've met many of them, and they just terrific. You know how Walter changed their life, or affected their lives, or gave them joy. But he was also just, you know, it just allowed me to play all of the tricks and games I've learned over the previous 30 years or whatever. Well, he was about 30 then. So I did them all, and they didn't mind. At the beginning, they would. I guess they would have been looking at me and saying, "Well, we've cast this guy. What does he do?" And then they watched a few things and said, "Oh my God, yeah, okay." So they presented more and more interesting tasks for me, but I loved every minute of it.
He was great. He was an awesome character because you never knew where he was going.
Yep, he did. Well, yeah, the character, the interesting thing about the character, talk about complex. Walter was very complex, apart from being a genius, which puts him in very rarefied company. Very rarefied company. He'd also been affected by a long-term drug, not so much abuse, but when he was in hospital, he was pumped full of stuff.
Yeah.
So his personalities changes, and then what I tried to do with the drugs in the hospital was see a little bit of a winding down, so that he wasn't all only in the beginning, and then it settled down. But then under stress, it was that for action actually, and under stress you quite sometimes I just do it, no fuss, but it's like a throwback to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what you can do when you build a character. You can just take stuff all the way through. And,
well, that shows a really great actor because you carry it through the whole series. You could tell it was still there, and you know, part of him. Yeah, I love that character. I actually watched Friend, and it was great to see him change over the seasons, but still be true to who he was in the first season. You know.
So that's the character. He was a gift. Yeah, you know, there's so much stuff being found at present, which is pretty arch. You know, the boys and I did something on that, and it's all very arch and just slightly heightened reality, And I think it's great. That's not necessarily where I would want my, you know, the big one, whatever that may be, to be.
Yeah.
And it's more of a. There's some stories of old men. Basically, old bedraggled buggers who have lived a life, who have some wisdom, have a story of something, and there's a complexity, and there's relationships that he's fucked up, and there's relationships that he's messed up, and he pulls them together. You know, the sort of bloke I'm thinking about. I mean, the image in my head is an old man with a long grey beard, but it doesn't have to be that. But very complex. Yeah. They've been around. There's characters like that, but I haven't auditioned for any of them.
Yeah.
I've auditioned for. They're really fair. Everyone wants those. People say also that actors have more fun playing bad characters, or actors say that. Well, Yeah, because they're more complex. Their choices are deeply buried, you know.
Yes. Yeah. It's very easy to be a good guy. It's hard to be a bad guy. So.
With the odd opposite, I always feel like a bit of a dick when I'm being a good boy. I do, seriously, even though I'm very passive and quiet fella. I feel embarrassed. I always think I'm blushing or something. Like, because when you're doing one of those, you're pretty close to yourself. Oh, no, I don't do it anymore, but I used to get really. I said, don't send me for those, please. I can't do them. I can't do them. Didn't want it, I guess. That's what I'm saying. But, yeah.
Well, you talked about doing directing. Is there a director you really like or have enjoyed working under?
Look, there are many. I started to answer that like a politician. They always answer questions with look. You notice that?
Stop being a politician. I didn't hire you for that.
So, hold bring me off again. Quick. What was your question again?
The director. Is there some director you enjoyed, being directed?
Yeah. Well, look, there are many. You can watch. I could watch a genius like Peter Jackson at work. I mean, that was truly the finest thing I've ever seen. The way that he pulled that show together, and he's not a friend of mine. I worked with him, but that was genius. Absolutely, doing those 3 plays, those 3 films at the same time, and not missing a beat.
Yeah.
So scared. And Peter set a high bar. He put a lot into getting that show, as you probably know. That's a story in itself. He set a high bar, and everyone said, "Let's go." And particularly the New Zealanders were so thrilled because he's their boy, and it was their production, and thousands of them were in it, and they were so proud, so proud. I mean, it was just taken on as a national thing. I mean, when we opened the last one, we had it was in Wellington. We had a big parade in the back of cars down from Parliament House, right down through the main drag and to the theatres. I mean, it's bizarre, but that was what New Zealand was like. We were at the back waving off that. They loved it. They even painted the Air New Zealand planes with a Lord of the Rings symbol. That was beautiful. So that was Peter Jackson. Yeah, there are others. There are others. I don't.
I caught you off guard. Sorry.
No, I don't particularly want to be directed a lot unless there's a reason for it. If someone was directing for the sake of directing, it wouldn't be good. But they don't do that with me anyway. Sometimes if I really feel some trust with the person, not that I distrust the others, but someone I really trust and who's approaching me in a certain way, I'll say to that person, look, I'll do whatever you want, just tell me, because I can do that. If you've got other ideas, let me know.
Yeah.
And I can do them. Then I'll take the suggestion because I'll listen to it, and it's actually founded in fact and plot, and so yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good to know. Good to know. Do you like doing the voiceover work that you do? Because I see you've done some video games and some animation. Do you enjoy doing that? Because I've met a lot of voice actors that want to be in front of the screen and not behind.
Yeah, I'm actually doing another one now, but I don't think I'm allowed to tell you what it is, but it's a big one.
Oh, please don't then, yeah. But I know you've done Batman and a couple others.
Oh, yeah. Which I'm recording at present. Oh, I love the voiceover work. It's funny when you say some actors, one or the other, because I think when I grew up, I thought, really, you'd get your hand at everything. And that started in the early days. I mean, we were building sets and doing the floor work. I loved all that. I loved it. Do the lights. I learned so much about the whole thing. Yeah, those days when we'd all have to be bloody painting the stage, it's 4 hours before due to open and still stick. Oh, it was wonderful. Geez, you know what? It was a community theatre, but it was as good as any theatre that I've ever been in, and that's a lot. It was just the time, the place and the time, and really sort of pre-professionalism in Australia.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Uh, I still, when people ask me, and it surprises me, they say, well, what's your favourite things you've done? And there'll be probably 2 from my community theatre days at least of the 4 favourites in stage work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there was a lot more of the other. So. Yeah, I like stage, and sometimes, well, because I ran a theatre company for 10 years, sometimes it can get a bit, when you're doing it every day, doing the same thing every day all the time, and if you're running the company, you don't get a chance to get excited about it the way that a director normally would go and bury them instead of doing it.
Yeah.
So it's better to let someone else take over then, I think. I believe.
Yeah.
Better for
Yeah. Time to move on. Well,
yeah.
and you've given us a lot of great work, you know.
Look, I'm glad. Because I'm at the stage now where I guess I'm reflecting, particularly the last 7 months when I've been sitting by myself, basically, here in Austin. I've spent a lot of time. Well, I spent a lot of time thinking about everything. I mean, this has been an extraordinary period for me, and including my work in the arts, and also this is the interesting one. There's still a burning in me that says that's not your work. That's not your real work. Not, it will encompass you use these skills, but that hidden. See, we're hidden when we're acting. We're just hidden within that story. Something else, and I'm letting it sit there and just stew through.
Yeah.
I used to love teaching, and I was really good at it. I was thinking, I might set some master classes up, but it doesn't thrill me. Do you know what I mean?
It's not your heart's desire.
Yeah, right, but I don't know what it is, and it's probably, yeah, it's probably more in the helping mode somehow or other. I don't know how yet, but I'm to give back a bit, as a human being and as a fairly successful man. Time to give back. What I want to do. And that's what my wife wants to do, and that's what we both want to do together if possible. I don't know what it is, though.
Well, giving back, you do have a charity. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
You don't have a charity, and I don't know why that's on my bio. Someone else asked me about that, and I said no.
It is on your bio. It's on your official bio and the other one, so that's why I was asking.
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
I remember.
Do you want to?
I thought it must have come off a site that was run by fans. I mean, there were a couple of sites John Noble sites out there. Yeah, no. All right. Yes. Do you want what? No, I'll get my manager to sort it.
Yeah. No worries. I mean, I just thought I would ask because,
Bad thing to have done, but I haven't, and I've been like a peripatetic sparrow the last 20 years, just here, there, and everywhere, different homes, different places, which is a poor excuse, but I feel like I'm still on the move,
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm looking forward to going home, spend a bit of time with my wife for a month.
That'll be nice. Yeah.
It'll be good. Be good. And so would you. So yeah, stage work. I've gone back. I've really not directed since I stopped directing, except I directed a graduating musical for a drama school. That was fun. But that was a few bits and pieces. Yeah, a few, I suppose. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, but my heart hasn't been in it. I just left it behind, and I have no desire to go back to directing at all. Lots of people think I'm not. People say to me, ask me first of all if I would like to, and then I'll be off. And well, will you if you're offered something? Was the next question. And asked of me in New York, and I said no, because there's so many people in the theatre, particularly at that level. There's so many people who do that simple job, directing for a living. That's all they do, and they're really good at it.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with some of them, and I think, let them have it. God, they love it. I don't.
You should do what you like, not something someone you to do. So, well, see, I've learned something.
Mm. Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you can talk to us about? Or are you going to try and work on a project, or you just going to
Oh,
go home and relax?
I'm returning to New Zealand. I started a project there last year, and which was first halted because the lead actor damaged his leg very badly, and so we were all sent away. But then, of course, the virus came in, and here we are 12 months later, getting the show back together again as a television series.
Mm-hmm. Well, that'll be good.
So I'll finish that off, and then I'll go to Australia, and I'll do 2 weeks quarantine before when I get to New Zealand. 2 weeks when I get to Australia. Month.
Well, it's just how we are nowadays. Lots of quarantine time. So.
That's all right. And I mean, I just got another result today for the test, and I'm still negative. So that's what we like to hear.
Bless. That's awesome.
And tell me what you're doing. I mean, what you're doing with this is terrific. Just as you stream this work.
Yes. I'm trying to remind people that we're still out, and we have autographs of you and other actors, and we're trying to teach them about how to keep them, and different kinds of buttons and other collectibles that we sell. And so my YouTube channel has turned into how to store it, what's out there, talking with people like yourself, and just
I
letting
love it.
people know. Yeah.
I love them. They're bizarre, different places, different around the world, but the sense of fun that people have is really wonderful.
Yeah.
And contact for me, being able to contact with those folks is really special, really special. And they'll tell me things that I will never forget. Sometimes they do.
Yeah.
And laugh and carry on, have a lot of fun doing it. And I make some money out of it, but I love talking to them, and I learned so much about my business, but also about myself and about other people. And that's why I'm not prepared to come down hard on the people in the middle of America, because I've been out there. They're just lovely folks. They're just lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely folks.
I miss traveling and talking to the people and getting to see different parts and different things. Being in Los Angeles has been really stifling. I miss it, the creativity, the figuring it out, talking to people, interacting. It's very hard.
Well, we'll call it phone, and there'll be a lot of people missing it, because that they became a big social network for a whole group of people who maybe, at least initially, were not in the inside crowd, but that's all shifted a bit now.
Yeah.
But there's this other world, which is people. People involved with the fan business interconnecting. It's huge. It's huge, and people, their relationships going for years, and catch up with friends and old girlfriends and boyfriends, get drunk again. That's what they do.
I mean, I have people at Gallifrey, which you came to, who ask me how you are and are we ever going to get you back there, and then I have other people who I've known for 40 years, and I've seen their children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, coming and asking me about different things. So it's a real learning experience, and seeing other people,
Probably I'm supposed to be doing stuff, but we celebrate 20 years this year of the opening of Fellowship.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Huge. But the point about it is, in the fan base, is it's a whole new generation of fans. We weren't even born when we finished it. And that's really, really bizarre.
Or people bringing their kids in. You've got to watch this.
Yeah, I know that.
It's great.
All right, love. Nice to talk to you. You got any other questions?
Yeah, nope, that's it. Unless you have anything else, we're done.
For that chat.
All right. Well, thank you.